Thank you for purchasing a standalone Wetdeck backyard splash pad. In the next few minutes, we'll show you how to successfully install a Wetdeck. For more detailed instructions, please refer to the printed assembly and installation instructions provided with the product. The standalone Wetdeck kit will arrive with all of its parts placed inside a 150-gallon reservoir which ships on a pallet. Inside the reservoir you will find a system controller, a set of brass nozzles, 4 solenoid valves, 3 valve manifold tees, a 1-inch globe valve, a 4-inch nickel drain with ABS hub, a 3/4 horsepower pump, a 25 square foot filter housing, and an inline chlorinator. Upon opening, carefully inspect all parts prior to assembly to make sure that no damage has occurred in transit and to ensure that a damaged part is not used during installation. Because of the custom nature of this product, we can only provide an approximate list of the additional items you need for installation, but at a minimum, you will need various lengths of 4-inch, 1.5-inch, and 1-inch PVC pipe, various PVC fittings, primer and glue, 8-gauge copper grounding wire, 16-gauge electrical wire for the valves, a level, a PVC saw, wire cutters, a 50-foot tape measure, and a 1-inch spigot. Site preparation for a standalone Wetdeck will vary for each installation, but at a minimum will require some level of excavation for the Wetdeck pad, trenching for the inlet and outlet pipes, and potentially a pit for the reservoir. You will also need to provide a sheltered area for the pump, filter, chlorinator, valve manifold, and control box. Because the Wetdeck utilizes a gravity drain, the top of the reservoir must be at least a minimum of 6 inches lower than the drain, but not more than 5 feet. To accomplish this, the reservoir may need to be buried or placed downhill from the splash pad. The reservoir has 3 1.5-inch fittings, one for the inlet, one for the outlet, and one that may be used as either an overflow outlet or as an autofill inlet. Additionally, the reservoir also has a 4-inch fitting for the drain from the splash pad. Start by setting the drain and connecting the drain line back to the reservoir. Make sure that the 6-inch minimum is met to ensure proper gravity drain operation. Next, the pump inlet should be connected to the lowest fitting on the reservoir with 1.5-inch PVC pipe. The maximum height for the self-priming pump is 7 feet. The pump outlet should run directly to the filter and be connected with 1.5-inch PVC pipe, and the filter should be attached directly to the chlorinator with 1.5-inch PVC pipe. To connect the chlorinator to the valve manifold, you will need to scale down to 1-inch PVC pipe. Please note, the valves must be placed within 50 feet of the Wetdeck surface. Between the chlorinator and valve manifold, you should attach the globe valve. The spigot should be located after the pump in the same enclosed space as the pump and controller and be easily accessible. The nozzles can be placed in a variety of different configurations. Factory-tested configuration examples are contained in the product installation instructions. When you install the nozzles, be sure that each of the nozzles is approximately the same distance from the valves to ensure that the height of the water streams remain constant. There are suggested plumbing schematics in the written installation instructions to help you accomplish this. The nozzle should be at least 2 feet from the edge of your pad to prevent overspray. Next, connect the male threaded nozzles to the female threaded connectors, making sure that the top surfaces of the nozzles are level. Once the nozzles are level, run the plumbing from the nozzles back to the valves. You can set up your recirculation line at the same time. The surface of your Wetdeck should be constructed of slip-resistant materials that are sealed so that all water runs to the drain. The Wetdeck in this video utilizes textured concrete to meet this requirement. Additionally, the slope of the surface should be 2 degrees towards the drain, meaning that for each foot of radius, there should be a 1/4 inch drop towards the drain. Finally, install the control system in a sheltered area and have a licensed electrician wire the controller and pump. The pump and controller run off a 115-volt power source. The valves run off of 24-volt power. The first set of connections should run to the solenoid valves and recirculation lines. These wires connect to the inputs labeled SOL1, SOL2, SOL3, and recirc in the control box. Once all connections are complete and the program select light glows red, then press the plus sign to initiate system operation. Thank you for purchasing a Wetdeck backyard splash pad. For more information, please visit us at www.srsmith.com or call us at 800-824-4387 and we'll be happy to assist you with your Wetdeck questions.